Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Kwakodash, and double honors to the elders of GMS, and also double honors to the bishops, the elders operating in the highways and byways, and to all the sincere brethren that also labor in the highways and byways, and to the hopeful elect brothers and sisters that listen to the truth. I pray this may be another edifying lesson to the flocks, and with that I'll begin the lesson. But before I begin the lesson, I'll say the true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means He exists, and the true name of the Son, which is Yahushua Mashiach, with the word ignorant called Jesus, and the meaning of the name Yahushua is the Redeemer or the Deliverer, you can say that, and He's only coming to redeem His people, which is the Israelite. And in this day and age, you associate the Israelite scattered in all four corners of the world, but the bulk of the Israelites live in the North America, South America, and the Caribbean, and you will identify them. You can identify them as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and they also scatter among the other nations as well, and look like the other nations. With that, I'll begin the lesson, and the title of lesson of the night, I should say, is Tables of Nations. And there are 18 nations there are 18 nations on the planet. Contrary to what Esau told you, there's like right now, if you go on Google right now, it'll say they have like a roughly 194 to 200 nations. How many nations? Let me just type it real quick. How many nations are there in the world? Because last time I checked, it says 194, but as of now it says there are 195 countries in the world, including 193 United Nations member states and 2 non-member observers. So as we're speaking right now, there are currently 195 nations, but that's what Esau said. But according to the Bible, there's only 18 nations, and all of these nations came from after the flood. After the flood, Noah had 3 sons, and all these nations came from Noah's 3 sons, which is Shem, Japheth, and Ham. And Shem, from the Shemitic bloodline, there's like 8 nations, and from the Japhetic bloodline, there's like 6 nations, and from the Hamitic bloodline, there's like from Ham's son, he said he has like 4 nations that came out of him, and all these nations are still living on the earth right now. And it's Esau that's misplacing everybody. That's why there's like a confusion. But the elite of each of those nations know exactly who they are and exactly who everybody is. But the main reason they keep Esau keep that confusion is to keep the children of Israel asleep, pretty much. Like everybody outside the U.S. know exactly who the true people of the true biblical Israelites are. The only person that don't know is our people. And even if you tell our people they are the true biblical Israelites, they're still ignorant. They still ignore you. They're still calling themselves black, Latinos, and Native Americans. They don't want to associate themselves with the true nationality. Meanwhile, everybody on the planet wants to be Israelites. You got so-called Jews calling themselves Israel. You got the so-called some of the Hamites calling themselves Israel. Any nation on the planet, whenever they get a chance, they start calling themselves our nations. But however, our people, it doesn't matter how many times you show them that they are the true descendant of the Israelites. You can open the Bible, you can flip it from the beginning of the Bible all the way to the last page. They still don't care. They still want to live in folly. They still want to claim to whatever label Esau put them on. So I'm gonna begin with the first nation, which is and by the way, the table of nations, you will find it in Genesis chapter 10. He'll tell you all about the nations. And let me see. So the nation I'm gonna read is the first nation is, and here's the table of nations. Damn, it's still blurry. Give me 1 second. It's still blurry. Let me see if I put my brightness down. So, okay, that's much better. So that's the table of nations. I know from the people that's watching it, it'll look backward. If you can just pause it and flip it, maybe. I think that might be able to help. So I'm gonna hold it for a few more seconds so people can see. Or you can just pause it too. Yep. And I'm gonna bring my brightness back up again. Yeah. So the first nation on the table of nations is obviously the number of nations on the planet, which is currently at the bottom because we are under the curses. And that nation is the nation of Israel. That's how you will say it in English, but in Hebrew, it will say Yasharallah. And the nation of Israel consists of 12 tribes, which is what we know as the 12 tribes of Israel. And nowadays, in this day and age, the 12 tribes of Israel, you associate them as the Negroes. That's our current label we have: Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and they scatter all four corners of the world. But the bulk of the nation live in North America, South America, and the Caribbean. And as we're speaking right now, all the 12 tribes are in captivity in Babylon the Great. All the tribes are in the Babylon the Great right now. And I'm gonna show you the picture of the 12 tribes. And before I start the lesson, I'm gonna give you like a brief introduction of the 12 tribes. And starting with the first, this is the 12 tribes. Let me put the brightness down again. I think it should be good for that one. If it's too blurry, yeah, it's too blurry. Let me put it down. So this is the 12 tribe. Hopefully it's not too dark. This is the 12 tribe. This is the 12 tribes of Israel. You can also go on Google, you find it anywhere. And the 12 tribes of Israel consists of, it's basically there's the kingdom of Israel was split in two after the death of King Solomon. So it became like the southern kingdom, which is a kingdom of Judah, which consists of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. In this day and age, you call it the so-called Negroes, like African American, West Indians, and Haitians. And the northern kingdom, which is basically the kingdom of Israel, which is headed by Ephraim, and the rest of the 9 tribes, which is Simeon, Zebulun, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. And I'm gonna start with the top, which is Judah, the so-called Negroes. Basically, Negroes are African Americans. You got Benjamin, which is the West Indians from Jamaican, Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia. All these are considered Benjamite. And you got Levi. Levi's are nowadays the so-called Haitians. And together Judah, Benjamin, Levi make up the southern kingdom, or you can just call the house of Judah pretty much. And the northern kingdom consists of Ephraim. So basically you go like from Simeon, which is nowadays, which is in this day and age will be Dominicans. And you got Zebulun, which is Guatemalans to Panamanians. You got Ephraim from basically Puerto Ricans, which is basically the Puerto Rican, I should say, which is the head of the northern kingdom. And Manasseh, which is Cubans. Gad, which is North American Indians. We got Reuben, which is Seminole Indians. And Naphtali, which is Argentinians to Chileans. And you got Asher, which is Colombian to Uruguayans. And you got Issachar, which is so-called Mexicans, which Esau's giving hell right now. And these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And now I'm going back to the tables of nations. And table of nations, we got the second nation, which is the nation of Edom. Edom, pretty much. In Hebrew, it's called Adawam, and we know that's the so-called white man. And the third one, we got Elam. In Hebrew, you say Ayalam, which is the Indian, pretty much, the country of India, pretty much. And the fourth one, we got Asher. In Hebrews, Ashawar. And nowadays you say Assyria. Most likely, I don't want to say Middle East, pretty much. Or I think it's a Middle East, pretty much. The fifth one is Aram. In Hebrew, Haram, which is Syria, most likely Middle East. And we got the Ishmael, which is on Hebrew is Yashamalia, Mila, which is Arabs. Basically, they live in the Middle Eastern. And to this day, the Arabs, somehow, Ishmael still kind of keep the ancient custom, but see what they garment. Well, right now, they kind of follow Esau. They kind of move from they start shaving their beard, wearing suit and ties. But for the most part, the average Ishmaelite, they still kind of follow the custom, especially the women over there. And you got Moab, which is in Hebrew is Mahwaba, which is the Chinese. Basically, they have those. Yeah, we all know the Chinese right now. They pretty much making big move in the world stage right now. And then we got Ammon, which is in Hebrew, Imawan, which is the so-called Japanese, which means another basically Asian group pretty much. We know they pretty much famous for the anime, because I like anime. We got those are the 8 Shemitic bloodline, and the head of the Shemitic bloodline is Israel. Pretty much Israel is the head of all nations pretty much. Because like the scriptures say, all the other nations are like a drop of bucket in the eyes of the Heavenly Father pretty much. And now I'm gonna go to the Hamitic bloodline, which is Cush. In Hebrew is Kawash, which is the Ethiopians. And we got Mizraim, which is in Hebrew Matazarium, which is the Egyptians. And nowadays the Egyptians are misplaced pretty much. Esau's misplaced everybody from their land. So the next one is Put, which is Pawat, which is North Africa. And we got, now we're gonna go to the Japhetic bloodline, which we got Gomer, in Hebrew is Gamar, and now which is Turkey, which is most likely Eastern. I think might be like a East, somewhere Middle East. I think like a Eastern Europe pretty much. And then now we got Magog, which is in Hebrew Magawag, which is Russians. That's like the original Japhetic. That's the modern day Russian, because the modern day Russians are pretty much Esau pretty much. But Esau occupied that territory. And you got Javan, which is in Hebrew Yawan. In English is Greek. But once again, the original Greeks were the Japhetics. Like until the, you know, when you hear the story of Greeks, people always associate them to be like Alexander the Great and the 4 generals. But the original Greeks were Japhetic people. And Ashkenaz, and Hebrew Ashkenaz, and now Germans. Now the modern day Germans are pretty much once again Edomites. And we got Tarshish, which is Tharashish in Hebrew, is Spanish. We know our people live in Spain, so we occupy Spain. But and we got modern day people that live in Spain also, like ruled by Edomites also. So we got last one Kittim, which is Katayam or Cyprus. And yeah, that those are all together consist of the all 18 nations of the Bible. And you find the table of nations, Genesis chapter 10 pretty much, man. But the entire world nowadays, especially if you live in Babylon the Great, like the other nations that live that when they bring the people that live outside of the US, they know the heritage pretty much somehow. They know exactly who they are. Like all the labels that we calling other nations right now, when they come to America, they always get, you see them always get confused, because they most likely change the name somehow. So sometimes they change their name, but even though they change the name, they always take pride being on their nationalities. But when you come to America, they tell you everybody all one race, the human race. And the other nations always let you know firsthand, especially when it comes to Jakes. They always make it clear that we ain't the same people, and they always making know like a Jake is a piece of shit. That's how the world view us pretty much, man. And all this is because of Esau. Because when you read the book of Job 9 verse 24, let me find it real quick. It says Job 9 and 24. It says the earth, Job 9 and 24, it says, the earth is giving into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and where is? So when it said the earth is giving into the hand of the wicked, who is the wicked? The wicked is basically Esau Edom, man, the so-called white man, the son of perdition. And he covered the faces of the judges thereof. Basically the judges basically the Israelites. Being about all 12 tribes. And we are right now, most of our people are asleep. And even though when you try to wake them up, they don't want to wake up. You know why? Because they get too comfortable living in Babylon the Great, where they can practice all their wicked deeds. But if not, where and who he is, basically, if it's not the so-called white man, who it is then? He's the only, you know, nowadays people will be like, well, the Chinese are controlling the world. You got the Arabs are controlling the world. But who are they following? Who's giving the order pretty much? Without the so-called white man, the world can't do anything right now. Matter of fact, as we're speaking right now, Jakes have the complete trust in Esau right now. Jake can't picture a world without Esau ruling pretty much. And the other nations likewise, they get all their powers from Esau. Like right now, Esau's the cream of the crop of the planet right now. And you got the nation doing all Esau beatings, and then you got Jake on the bottom pretty much. And all the nations are stomping on us, man, starting with Esau pretty much, man. So the devil, the wicked, the ruler of the world is pretty much like a Esau, man. The Most High give him the key to the world, man. And that's why if you read also the book of Genesis, because he covered the feast of Judges, that's one of the reasons like we don't know our nationality, man. Like I said earlier before I saw the video, like all the other nations on the planet know exactly who we are, man. Especially the elite of the other nations, man. Is the peons, man. Especially the peons that live in Babylon the Great. They don't know who they are. They call themselves Americans or French, German, or whatever label Esau put himself, man. They're just as clueless as Jake's pretty much, man. And the only people that know the true identity are pretty much the hopeful elect, man. Those of us that part of the hopeful elect, the Most High have mercy upon us and give us the name back. First and foremost, he give us his name and the son names. Then after that, he work us to our nationality, man. And so basically, the hopeful elect is the only one that's gonna get the truth, pretty much. And what else? And the next one is I'm gonna read this pretty much like Genesis 27 verse. Because the reason I'm gonna read Genesis 27 because a lot of people will say like all the other nations are have power on the earth to rule the earth, man. But when you read the story, like right now we're reaching the end of the story pretty much, man. From the beginning of the story, we got Cain and Abel, then Jacob and Esau. From the beginning of time till now, it's those two nations that's fighting, and now we reaching the end of the movie, man. And we can no longer avoid one another right now. Jacob and Esau can't avoid one another. Then the final clash gonna happen, and Jacob's gonna be prevail. Let me see, Genesis 27 verse 39 and 40, man. Because people don't seem to understand like Esau's ruling the world, and people's like, no, every nation have a power. They like the average person looking like because like when you look at the table of nations, there's 80 nations. Even though Esau said there's 195 nations, there's no such thing as 195 nations. It's the same people. You got the same nations that separate in different pieces. You got one group of that nation live on that land, one group of that nation live on the other hand, but it's still the same nations. Just like when Esau who call America and Canada, like there's two separate people. When there's like the same people that live there, you got Edomite that live in Canada and Edomite that live in U.S. You got Jake that live in Canada and Jake that live in U.S. It's two group of people that live that occupy the same land mass pretty much. So Esau make it seem that there's like three countries that live. You got Mexico, U.S. and Canada. One is two people that live on those lands, Jake and Esau. And likewise, if you keep on spreading around, you got like a country around Europe. I don't know how many countries there's in Europe, but there's gonna be like each Edomite and each Jake have their own little camp. Or not just the rest of all the nations spread around the world. So Esau, every time somebody spreads somewhere, Esau will be like, yep, that's a new country. It doesn't work like that, man. It doesn't matter where you spread, how far you spread. It's always gonna be the same. It's always gonna be, you're still gonna be the same. It's still gonna be the same 18 nations on the planet. So Genesis 27 verse 39 said, and Isaac, let me see, Genesis 27 verse 39 and 40. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. So basically Isaac gave Esau the fatness of the earth, which means like he gave Esau all the earth riches, like all the best part of the earth. Who dwelt on them is none other than an Edomite, and you got the other nations get little crumbs of it. And if you go to countries like if you go to the Caribbean, countries in the Caribbean, you see like all the best part, like Edomite tourists go over there, they live there, or wealthy Edomite go over there, man. You got Jake that live in their own countries, and they got land on their own country that say no trespassing, private property. You got an Edomite that live in America and Europe on the territory of a Jake that live over there, man. You got Jake slaving, making I don't know how much, like $1-2 a day, and working for Esau on Esau's resort. And they're making the food, they're cleaning those areas. Guess who's dwelling in those areas? Edomite. And Jake's only getting the crumbs. So Esau get all the best part of every land, his own land, and even the other nations as well. And basically, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. So basically, you get all the world riches, pretty much, man. And the 40 say, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. Basically, so basically, the Esau will live by his sword, and his sword is pretty much anything, man. His actual sword, weapons. He does anything that Esau used, anything that Esau's weaponized can be a sword. From food poisoning, so vaccine, anything that he touched can be a weapon, pretty much. And thou shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So basically, the Most High said, as I said, like Esau will serve his brother. So the period that he served was most likely the period that when he was like on a slavery for like period of 1,000 years, pretty much. But once he woke up from that period, he was gonna. Once he broke up from that yoke, he was gonna put his brother in captivity, and we've been in captivity ever since Esau woke up from it. We've been in captivity ever since Esau broke those yoke from his neck, pretty much, man. And we've been catching hell under this devil, man. And he has no mercy on us, man. Even till this era now, he's still breaking us, man. Physically, when I say breaking us, all people as a whole, man. But the only people that's enduring right now, is pretty much the hopeful, like, pretty much, man. And the next one I'm gonna read is Matthew 20. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. And oh yeah, so the next one I was gonna leave is like right now, like I said, like he has like he's ruling the world through sword, with the sword, with the iron fist, through violence. The first I was gonna say is like it was like when Peter took the sword and cut the soldier ears, and Yahushua said, when you read Matthew 26 verse 52, say, then said Yahushua unto him, put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. So basically, I'm using this verse to say like Esau right now, he's ruling the world through violence. He has a sword. That's why he's using that sword to destroy everything. So likewise, since he's using the sword to put people down, destroying the world and basically killing us, so that's what's gonna turn on him also, man. Whoever uses the sword, whoever let me see. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Basically, whoever take the sword. Basically, whoever killed with the sword will also be killed by the sword also. So that'll be the lesson, man. I pray this was another edifying lesson to the flocks. And whoever the most I want to hear this message, let it be heard. With that, I'd like to say, Shalom.